Former Maryland governor and current U.S. Senate candidate Larry Hogan is in a pointedly awkward situation right now after former President Donald Trump endorsed him earlier this week. While not usually a problem for Senate candidates to receive a presidential endorsement, Trump's decision to endorse Hogan, who's not a friend of the former president in a deep blue state like Maryland, complicates things for the former two-term Republican governor and has now left him awkwardly trying to reject Trump's support. We'll talk about Hogan and Trump's relationship, why Hogan is distancing himself from the endorsement, and why Donald Trump seems to be butting in this race, in today's Ishan S. Show Daily. Before we talk about the bizarre endorsement, let's first talk about what's at play here and why the Maryland Senate race matters so much. So Democrats gained control of the U.S. Senate in 2020 with a narrow 50-50 majority, with Vice President Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker. They managed to then expand that majority to 51 seats in 2022, despite losing the House that year. This time, however, things look a lot more tight for Democrats as they are defending nearly double the number of seats as the GOP plays offense in states such as Maryland. Currently, Democrat senators have been polling ahead of their Republican rivals, so states like Maryland, where incumbent Senator Ben Cardin is not running for re-election, are prime targets for the GOP to make gains. It's why Larry Hogan's race against Prince County Executive Angela Alsobrooks has garnered so much attention. Hogan served as the two-term Republican governor of this state from 2015 to 2023, and he built his reputation on being a pragmatic and generally successful leader. And despite being a Republican in a deep blue state, he managed to win 2 terms and top the charts as one of the most popular governors in the country. Rest assured, he is well known among the Maryland electorate. With that information, it's no surprise that Hogan is also positioned to be the strongest candidate Republicans could have put up in this race. Things initially became complicated when Hogan criticized former President Donald Trump during his presidency, especially for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the January 6th riots. He criticized Trump for getting caught up in his criminal trials and even earned the ire of Trump's daughter-in-law / RNC co-chair Laura Trump, who said Hogan, quote, doesn't deserve the respect of anyone in the Republican Party. So Hogan was never particularly in Trump's good graces. His dislike of the former president has also been reflected in his candidacy. He's been pitching himself as more of an independent and someone who wouldn't just side with Senate Republicans on crucial issues. He said that he'll vote to codify abortion protections into law and protect IVF access, 2 things which haven't been on MAGA's agenda. He's also stated that Senate Republicans couldn't rely on his vote for key issues. He said that he won't support Trump's bid for the presidency this year, just like he didn't in 2016 and 2020. So, Hogan has been trying to walk a very tight rope between being a Republican while also trying to distance himself from the MAGA Trump wing of the GOP. So understandably, things became awkward for Hogan when Trump unexpectedly told Fox News that he would like to see Larry Hogan win, saying, quote, I'd like to see him win. I think he has a good chance to win, effectively offering his endorsement to Hogan. It creates a complicated issue for the former governor since he spends so much of the race pitching himself as detached from the MAGA wing and rejecting the former president. For his part, Hogan has tried to distance himself from the former president, saying, quote, well, I just said I didn't seek it. I didn't want to have it, and I have no interest in it, when he was asked if he would reject the vote. The support has proven to be a liability in some sense for Hogan because no matter how much he tries to distance himself from Trump, the fact remains that Democrats can now effectively peg the 2 men together as being on the same team, serving the same agenda, since the ultimate battle is for Senate control. Some view it as a pragmatic decision to strengthen the GOP's position by uniting the party, while others see it as contradictory given the past animosity between Hogan and Trump. Democrats are leveraging the endorsement to challenge Hogan's credibility, suggesting that it undermines his previous criticisms of Trump. Angela Alsobrooks has already been campaigning on the endorsement, criticizing Hogan for being too cushy with the former president as she slowly begins to overtake him in the polls. As the 2024 election approaches, this endorsement will undoubtedly be a focal point of discussions, shaping the narrative of the Senate race in Maryland, but also potentially influencing the broader national politics given the full Republican Civil War that's still on display right now. The outcome of this race could provide insights into the future direction of the Republican Party depending on Hogan's success. If he is to win, then perhaps it shows that maybe the distancing effort does help. But if he loses, then it shows that the Trump endorsement can be a liability in states such as Maryland, where it needs more moderate Democrats. However, it turns out it does highlight the deeply divided politics of the Republican Party.